Everyone, please mute yourself. So we'll start the demo session. And any doubts you can ask after the end of the session. Any doubts you can ask after end of the session. So I'm SAP. So you can take their notes also. You have to take the notes. Of course, it's a demo session, but take the notes. It will help you in future. Okay, SAP. SAP stands for Systems, Applications and Products in Data Processing. SAP stands for Systems, Applications and Products in Data Processing. SAP stands for Systems, Applications and Products in Data Processing. Take this. SAP stands for Systems, Applications and Products in Data Processing. SAP stands for Systems, Applications and Products in Data Processing. And SAP is an ERP package. SAP is an ERP package. Take this. SAP is an ERP package. SAP is an ERP package. And ERP stands for Enterprise Resource Planning. ERP stands for Enterprise Resource Planning. ERP stands for Enterprise Resource Planning. So once again, SAP stands for Systems, Applications and Products in Data Processing. And SAP is an ERP package. And ERP stands for Enterprise Resource Planning. So what is ERP? Try to understand with this. So ERP specifies the planning in all the departments in an organization. If you take a company, you will have various departments. If you take a company, you will have sales department, you will have purchase department, you will have finance department, you will have HR department, you will have production department. And ERP specifies the planning in all the departments in an organization. If you have proper planning in all the departments, then only you can see the success of the organization. If you have proper planning in all the departments, then only we can able to see the success of the organization. It is not like that we have very good planning in sales. We have very good planning in sales. We can able to get more orders from the customers, but there is no planning in production department. What happens? So production department, they are not in a position to manufacture the goods on time. If they don't manufacture the goods on time, then we cannot deliver the goods to customers on time. So if you're not delivering the goods to customers on time, what happens? Customer dissatisfaction. If customer is not satisfied, will he place order next time? No. So final result is loss to the company. We lose the customers and it is loss to the company. Even though we have very good planning in sales department, but we are losing customers. We are losing business because of no planning in production department. Like that. Everything is interlinked. So that is the reason we require proper planning in all the departments in a organization. So I'll give you one more example. We have very good planning in sales department. We can able to get more orders from the customers. But we have very good planning in production department. We can able to manufacture the goods properly, but there is no planning in purchase department. So if there is no planning in purchase department, they are not in a position to procure the raw materials on time. If they don't procure the raw materials on time, they cannot manufacture the goods on time. If they are not manufacturing the goods on time, we cannot deliver the goods to customers on time. Like that. Everything is interlinked. So if you have to see the success of any organization, we require proper planning in all the departments. And that planning is specified in ERP. Make a note. ERP specifies the planning in all the departments in an organization. ERP specifies the planning in all the departments in a organization. Take this: sales, purchase, finance, HR, production. These are the departments in organization. These are some of the departments. Like that, we have many departments, but in example, we are taken only 5 departments. Take this example. Megan, if you have proper planning, if you have proper planning in all the departments, if you have proper planning in all the departments in an organization, in an organization, then only we can see, then only we can see the success of the organization. Then only we can see the success of the organization. The proper next slide. The proper planning, the proper planning in all the departments. The proper planning in all the departments will be specified in ERP. The proper planning in all the departments will be specified in ERP. And ERP also specifies how to utilize 4Ms. And what are the 4Ms? Money, machinery, manpower, material. These are the 4Ms: money, materials, machinery, manpower. Make a note. ERP also specifies ERP also specifies ERP also specifies how to utilize 4Ms. ERP also specifies how to utilize 4Ms. Make a note. The 4Ms are money. The 4Ms are money, materials, machinery, manpower. Money, materials, machinery, manpower. So ERP also specifies how to utilize 4Ms. The 4Ms are money, materials, machinery, and manpower. So once again, SAP. SAP stands for Systems, Applications, and Products in Data Processing. And SAP is an ERP package. And ERP stands for Enterprise Resource Planning. ERP stands for Enterprise Resource Planning. And ERP specifies the planning in all the departments in an organization. ERP specifies the planning in all the departments in your organization. And ERP also specifies how to utilize 4Ms. The 4Ms are money, materials, machinery, manpower. Next. So we have other ERP packages also available in the market, like SAP. SAP is based on ERP. Like that, we have other ERP packages available in the market, and these are the other ERP packages: Oracle, PeopleSoft, Ban, Siebel, JD Edwards, like that. So these are all the other ERP packages available in the market. Make a note. Other ERP packages available in the market. Other ERP packages available in the market. Other ERP packages available in the market. Take one by one. Oracle, PeopleSoft, Barn, Siebel, JD Edwards. Oracle, PeopleSoft, Barn, Siebel, JD Edwards. So these are all the other ERP packages. But why only SAP is famous? Why only SAP is famous? Even though we have other ERP packages available in the market, why only SAP is famous? Because we have some advantages of SAP. The main advantage of SAP is only SAP will have solution for all the departments in an organization. You name any department, we'll have solution from SAP. So only SAP will have solution for all the departments in an organization. Other ERP packages are specific to one department. Oracle is mainly for finance. PeopleSoft, HR, Siebel, CRM, like that other ERP packages are specific to one department. But only SAP will have solution for all the departments in a organization. So that is the main advantage. And one more advantage of SAP is a tightly integrated product. SAP is a tightly integrated product. What do you mean by that? If you do some transactions in one department, it automatically updates in other departments. It automatically updates in other departments wherever it is required. So if you do some transactions in any department, it automatically updates in other departments wherever it is required. So if I say transactions, so if I say transactions, the transactions are in SD. So I use the word transaction. So I'm explaining what you mean by transactions. In SD, the transactions are inquiry, quotation, sales order, delivery, invoice. These are the transactions. These are the transactions in SD. Like that, every module, they have their own transactions. Whenever I say transactions, nothing but this: inquiry, quotation, sales order, delivery, and invoice. This is the sequence. So if I create sales order in sales department, that information will be passed to other departments wherever it is required. If I do delivery, same. In SD, in a sales department, if I do delivery, that information will be automatically passed to other departments wherever it is required. If I create invoice, that information will be passed to FI, like that. So if I do transactions in one department, it automatically updates in other departments wherever it is required. Wherever it is required, like that. Because if I create sales order, the information should be passed to plant, inventory people, so they will plan according. If stock is not there, they'll arrange the stock, or if manufacture the goods, like that. So that information will be passed to inventory, PP, etc., etc. If I do delivery, this information will be passed to inventory people. If I create invoice, that information will be passed to FI people, like that. So if I say transactions, nothing but this: inquiry, quotation. Make a note. Example for transactions is, just take the example, then I'll give the notes for advantages of SAP. Example for transactions: inquiry, quotation, sales order, delivery, invoice. Inquiry, quotation, sales order, delivery, invoice. Now we'll go back to this. Make a note. Heading: advantages of SAP. Advantages of SAP. First point, first advantage, only SAP will have solution, only SAP will have solution, only SAP will have solution for all the departments, only SAP will have solution for all the departments in an organization. Only SAP will have solution for all the departments in a organization. Second advantage. Second advantage. SAP is a tightly integrated product. 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 So these are the two advantages of SAP. That is the reason SAP is famous when you compare to other ERP packages, because they are specific to one department, not like SAP. They are specific to only one department. But only SAP will have solution for all the departments in a organization. And SAP is a tightly integrated product. Make a note. Example for tightly integrated product is if you do the transactions, in one department, if you do the transactions in one department, it automatically updates in other departments. It automatically updates in other departments wherever it is required. Wherever it is required. And we discussed transactions. SD transactions are transactions means inquiry, quotation, sales order, delivery, and invoice. So these are the advantages of SAP. Next, no need to take this. Just I'll try to explain. No need to take this. So you might be having some doubt what could be the future of SAP. So that is the reason I'll explain the future of SAP. But don't take this in your notes. Not required. So the best example for the future of SAP is you will find people shifting from other applications to SAP. You'll find people shifting from other ERP packages to SAP. You will find people shifting from Java to SAP, .NET to SAP. You will find people shifting from sales to SAP, domain sales to SAP. Like that, you will find people shifting from other areas to SAP. But you will never find people shifting from SAP to other areas. That is the best example for the future of SAP. Why people are shifting from other areas to SAP? Why people are shifting from other ERP packages to SAP? Why people are shifting from Java to SAP, .NET to SAP? Because the future is only for SAP. The coming future is only for SAP. So that is the reason people are shifting from other areas to SAP. So this is the best example for the future of SAP. So if you are coming from other domains, other packages, you will be having some doubt what could be the future of SAP. You can retire in SAP. If you step into SAP, you can retire in SAP. Not like other ERP packages. After some period, you don't have a future in that. Then you have to learn other application. Then you have to again search for the job. That scenarios you will never find in SAP. If you step into SAP, you can retire in SAP. So that is the future of SAP. Not only present, next 40 years, you don't have any problem with the future of SAP because there is no competition to SAP. There is no competition to SAP. And no product, because already, if you see, 75 to 80% of the market share has been grabbed by SAP. For competitors, other ERP packages, the left out is only 20% market share. And all these 80%, 75 to 80% companies, they require consultants like us throughout the lifetime. Throughout the lifetime. And if any company develops a product like SAP, the left out share is only 20%. So that is the reason no company will dare to develop the product like SAP. That means there is no competition to SAP in future also. There is no competition to SAP in future also. So that is the future of SAP. So you'll find people shifting from other applications, other areas, other domains, other ERP packages to SAP. But you'll never find people shifting from SAP to other areas. So that is the best example for the future of SAP. And not only now, next 40 years, 50 years, there is no doubt about the future of SAP. If you step into SAP, you can retire in SAP. There's no doubt about the future of SAP. And because there's no competition to SAP. I can say this confidently. Next, take this. Versions in SAP. Versions in SAP. Versions in SAP. See, the latest version is 6. The latest version is 6. Previous to this 5. Previous to this 4.7. Previous to this 4.6c. Previous to this 4.6. Like that. These are all the versions. 3. These are all the versions in SAP. Take these versions. Take these versions. But present version is 6. Make a note. The present version is 6. The present version is 6. Present version is this one, 6. Next line. The difference between version to version. The difference between version to version is upgradation of the product. The difference between version to version is upgradation of the product. See, I'll try to explain this, why we require these many versions. See, 1980s, the version is 3, but present version is 6. 1980s, the version was 3, but present is 6. So the way of doing business in 1980s, try to understand this. The way of doing business in 1980s and the way of doing business present, is it same? So the way of doing business in 1980s and the way of doing business in 2020, there's a lot of change. There's a lot of change in business requirements. So whenever the business requirement changes, SAP will release new versions. SAP will release new versions. Whenever the business requirement changes, SAP will come out with new versions. So the difference between version to version is upgradation of the product. Make a note. Next slide. Whenever the business requirement changes, whenever the business requirement changes, whenever the business requirement changes, SAP will release new versions. Whenever the business requirement changes, SAP will release new versions. SAP will release new versions. And see here, the present version is 6, and the most successful version in SAP history is also 6. The most successful version in SAP history is also 6. Make it note. The most successful version in SAP history. The most successful version in SAP history is 6. The most successful version in SAP history is 6. So it is almost 13 years, 14 years they introduced 6 version. But since this 13 years, there are a lot of business requirements, changes in business requirements. But SAP is not releasing new versions. Last 13 years, even though there is changes in business requirement, SAP doesn't want to disturb this 6 version. So within 6 version, what SAP is doing, they are releasing enhancement packages. EHP means enhancement package. So after 6 version, if any business requirement changes, then SAP is releasing enhancement packages. Version is same 6, but under this you'll have various enhancement packages. Like, make it note. After 6 version, if any business requirement changes, after 6 version, if any business requirement changes, then SAP is releasing enhancement packages. SAP is releasing enhancement packages. SAP is releasing enhancement packages. Like, version is 6. Version is 6. Under this, you will have EHP1, EHP2, EHP3, EHP4, EHP5, EHP6, EHP7, EHP8 present. Like that. EHP stands for enhancement package. Enhancement package. So take like this. Under 6 version, you will have all these packages. Under version 6, you will have EHP1, EHP2, EHP3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And EHP stands for enhancement package. Enhancement package. Enhancement package. So present is EHP8. So the difference between one enhancement package to another is also upgradation of the product. The difference between one enhancement package to another is same, upgradation of the product. Make it note. The difference between one enhancement package to another. The difference between one enhancement package to another is upgradation of the product. The difference between one enhancement package to another is upgradation of the product. The difference between one enhancement package to another is upgradation of the product. Now, in SAP, we have two types of consultants, functional consultants, technical consultants. Functional consultants, we don't do coding, and we don't require the knowledge of coding. So you'll have some doubt. If you want to learn SAP, do we require some coding knowledge? No, nothing. Coding is not required for functional consultants. We are functional. See here, SD comes under functional. Not only SD, all modules, FI, CO, MM, PP, QM, all these comes under functional modules. A technical basis and above. Sub-appers will require the knowledge of coding, but functional consultants, uh, there's no prerequisite related to coding. So we don't require any coding knowledge, but ABAPer requires coding knowledge because they do coding. So most of the people will have some doubts. So that is the reason I want to clarify this. So we don't require any coding knowledge, functional consultants. Only technical consultants, that too ABAPers requires coding knowledge. Make a note. In SAP, functional consultants does not require coding knowledge. Functional consultants does not require coding knowledge. So keep in mind, because most of the people will have this doubt whether we require some coding knowledge or not, or whether there is any prerequisite to learn SAP SD. No, nothing. If you are graduate, you are eligible to do SAP SD. That's it. If you are a graduate, you can do SAP SD. There is no other courses required. There is no prerequisite for SAP SD. There is no coding knowledge for SAP SD. Nothing. You can, if you are graduate, if you are interested to move to software or to move to SAP, then you are eligible to do SAP SD. That's it. Okay, take this example for functional modules, technical modules. Take this. Functional modules, SD, sales and distribution. Take this. Functional modules, SD, sales and distribution, FI, finance, CO, controlling, materials management, PP, production planning, QM, quality management, and technical modules, basis, ABAP. So these are the modules. We have other modules also, but these are some core modules I mentioned here. You have many other modules, but these are the core modules I mentioned in the screen, functional modules. Make a note. Next line. SD is a functional module. SD is a functional module. And we will be called as functional consultants. We will be called as functional consultants. All these modules, SD consultant, nothing but functional consultants. Okay. So now we'll see the architecture. SAP architecture. SAP architecture. So before this architecture, we require knowledge of users. So I'll try to explain who is user. So any client, suppose Ranbaxy. Try to understand this. Suppose client, we call client. Ranbaxy. So if Ranbaxy wants to implement SAP, if Ranbaxy wants to implement SAP, assume that Ranbaxy is already using SAP, but assume the example. If Ranbaxy is using, assume that Ranbaxy is using JD Edwards, other ERP package. Now they want to implement SAP. Now they want to implement SAP. If Ranbaxy wants to implement SAP, then take IBM. Implementation partner is IBM. IBM company will implement SAP to Ranbaxy. And we will work for IBM as a functional consultant. through IBM, we will implement SAP to Ranbaxy client. Ranbaxy is the company, we call terminology client. So in this example, who is our implementation partner? IBM. What IBM will do? IBM will implement SAP. To whom? Ranbaxy. And Ranbaxy we call it as client. Ranbaxy we call it as client. So any client, we'll discuss this again also. So any client, if they want to implement SAP, they have to purchase license from SAP. Any client, if they want to implement SAP, they have to purchase license from SAP. Any client, if they want to implement SAP, remember, they have to purchase license from SAP. This is the first activity. And on what basis they decide how many licenses to be purchased? How they decide how many licenses to be purchased? Based on the number of users. Based on the number of users. So how they decide how many licenses to be purchased? Based on the number of users. Who is user? User is the employee of client. Client means here Ranbaxy. User is the employee of client who will use SAP. User is the employee of client who will use SAP. Who will do day-to-day transactions in SAP. So users will do inquiries, quotations in SD. SD users will do inquiries, quotations, sales orders, deliveries, invoice. In real time, who will do all these? Users. Who will do all these? Users. User is the employee of client who will use SAP or who will do day-to-day transactions in SAP. Who will do day-to-day transactions in SAP. So we should know about users. So that is the reason we discuss. We'll discuss again client, implementation, partner, all this terminology again. But here we should know users. And assume that my Ranbaxy purchase, Ranbaxy will have 1500 users. In all departments, they'll have 1500 users. So they'll purchase 1500 license. Every user will have separate license. So they'll purchase 1500 license. Each license cost approximately 80,000 rupees INR, Indian currency. That means 12 crores. So Ranbaxy has to pay this 12 crores to SAP to get the license. How many license? 1500 license. Like that. So every user will have separate license. So if you have 1500 users, they'll purchase not exactly 1500. They'll purchase a little bit more, 1550 users or 1600 users, something like that. Because consultants, implementation support consultants should also have license.